Okay, so while we're on this topic, just to go back to the Komarna for a moment, we're in Parshas Beshalach, and we're going to do it another minute, I think, with Tzadok. But while we're on the topic, we're going to, just to get to this place of Emunah, like speaking of the Komarna, just remember the Ramami Pano. The Ramami Pano, we speak of people who are so deeply connected in Emunah. So some people, first of all, Remechas Lotchever, every Suda Shlish during the third meal, he would sing his beautiful niggin, and he would go into a Dveykus, and then he would go into the Tish, wash. He'd be in a special connection to Hashem forever long. He'd go into the Tish and say his Torah. And he died because one of his children wasn't well, and the person watching him had to go away because he needed to be watched, because if he was left alone, he could just die from Dveykus. So connected, so he just float away and not come back. And one of the children wasn't well, and the child watching him went to check on the sibling, and he passed away. That's how he died. And the Ramami Pano, so this is Shabbos. It's also amazing. This is such an aura of Shabbos. There's so much Emunah that he doesn't exist. It's just Hashem. If you leave him, he doesn't have attendant. He's gonna, who knows what'll happen, right? The Ramami Pano, this was his situation every day. Every day, he would go into such a Dveykus, and he would turn white, start to tremble, and he had someone there who tried to shake him up, and apparently that wasn't enough. Shaking him wasn't going to do it. So he had a blunderbuss. He had this the big gun with the ballast inside. You made a big noise, made a boom, gunpowder made a big boom, and that would wake him up. The Chazon Ish, every mincha, was so completely immersed in his davening that he also was not disturbed by anything. And one time they needed him for a Shalat Pikuch Nefesh. They yelled, and nothing worked. They pushed him, didn't work. They had to pick him up and shake him around to wake him up from his connection to his davening. The story to Yisroch Moshe, also already on the topic, may as well go for the gold as it were. So Yisroch Moshe was once davening also in the woods. He was davening, was so much Dveykus, he didn't even notice what was happening there. And there was an officer there, and he didn't show him honor because he was davening. He's like, "What? That rabbi's a jerk. I'm not worried to buy new weapons. He's going to be my first target. He's a dead man." People heard him, and they told him, "Listen, this guy is very, very dangerous. He's crazy. He'll kill you." So Moshe, he just kept going every regular. So it was the night before this, the nobleman was slated to come back. So he was heard to turn to Hashem. He said, "Hashem, the truth is that my wife and I, we should spend the whole night saying Tehillim, pleading with you, please, please, please save us." He said, "But what can I do? I need to learn. I can't, for my tikkun, I need to be learning. I can't say Tehillim all night. I need to learn. I have something to learn." So my wife, she's really not so well. It's very hard for her to say Tehillim on Friday. She's got to sleep. He said, "So I'm going to learn, and please, Hashem, make it we begged you, and we brought these shiur and protect us." That's all he did. He learned the whole night, as usual. So this nobleman came. His first stop was whose house? His Moshe. He's going to kill him, right? He has all his weapons piled in his coach. He's ready. He's full. Now it's time to retribution to this rabbi. And as he opened the coach door, he sort of stumbled and stepped on a trigger and shot himself to death. That's what happened. So there's a kind of people that he was down. He didn't know I could hear somebody. Another story, I forgot who it was, where there's nobody ran into this big tzaddik davening, and he's like, "Yeah, this guy's a faker." He's like, "Yeah." So he took a gun, also this very loud, and he shot it off. He didn't jump, he didn't startle, he didn't anything. He was just so connected. Like people, he's like, "This, you can't fake that. That's doing. You can't. Boom, you can't. Either you're, So. There are Yidden who are really connected. We're trying on some level, some initial, while you're learning, while you're down, at least some particular, trying to get more Emunah, and that's the goal. The goal is to really, really be connected and really understand that everything is Parshas. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the Rav Tzadok. Rav Tzadok in Beshalach. So Rav Tzadok talks about this. It's very interesting. Why didn't Hashem take us straight through? Why didn't Hashem take us straight through the Eretz Yisrael? Right? Why not? Beshalach, Pharoh, right? First of all, Pharoh sent them. Who needs Pharoh sent them? Just say when they left. Makes it so important that Pharoh sent them. Who cares? That's the first thing. And second of all, oh no, we better send them around because who knows? They're going to be afraid, right? So the first thing is why Pharoh? Number one is why did Pharoh? So why did Pharoh? What's his bechina? What's his Indian that Pharoh sent them? Who cares? So this Ramak also really says. He says that it's very interesting with all the makkis. Why do you need all these makkis? Why do I need all of these 10? Why 10 plagues? And so there are different ways. There are different approaches. The Chaim HaKadosh beautifully explains that if you look at the plagues, you're going to find out that Hashem is showing His mastery over every aspect of creation. Because these non-Jewish nations, Egyptians and others, they would separate. So there's one deity for earth, one deity for water, one for this, one for air. He said there's wind, there's darkness, there's everything. You start to see that God is in charge from the water till the ground, kinam, till whatever you want. He rules everything. That's part of why He did these 10 plagues and why it took time. But the Ramak says a little differently. He says really because we didn't deserve. He says because we didn't deserve we didn't deserve to leave. We really needed to spend 400 years in Egypt, and we didn't spend 400 years in Egypt. Why? Because we weren't holding by it. Why weren't we holding by it? So Nassim, I don't think we're going to do this or Nassim today, but it's beautiful. Nassim says, we were on the 49th level of impurity, and if we waited, God had waited, we would have hit the 50th, and we couldn't be redeemed. So let me ask you a question: is there any place where you can't be redeemed? Really? So there's always tshuva. It's always possible. No redemption. Irredeemable. How could it be? So the Ohr HaKodesh has his answer. He says before Matan Torah, yes, it's possible to get to a place where you're not irredeemable. So after the Torah was given, it's impossible. Nassim says a different thing. He says, listen. The truth is that even before Matan Torah, really, there was no such thing as despair, like Rabbi Nachman says, with many, many sources of this idea. If you're alive, you have something to do, you can always fix, always fixable, always repairable. But the problem was they were going to give up completely on themselves. When you give up to such an extent, then you're not going to find it in yourself to come close. Not that you can't. You can. You think you can't. You think you that's it. Egypt, that's it. It's over. That we cannot abide. This is the terrible, terrible repercussion of years of giving up. You can't give up. Yeah. So he didn't take them through the way of. So the first thing was okay. So if Tzadok says, well, what's going on here? Tzadok says, what's going on here? He said, Tzadok says, what's going on here? Why is Pharoh sent? So okay, the Ramak says because we didn't have the right to leave, we were supposed to stay 400 years. So Pharoh had power over us. Pharoh had power. Pharoh, if he wanted to let us go. Not. So God forced him with these 10 plagues. But if he hadn't sent us away, so we wouldn't be able to get out. That's part of why Pharoh has a flip in our Parsha. He sent them and it's like, wait, they ran away. What do you mean? Are you crazy? 10 plagues. Pharoh knew he still had plenty of time left. 210 years, I have another 190 years. What's going on? Where did these guys go? He let them go. He didn't. He thought he was in charge. He realized it happened to take all of the sparks out of Egypt. It would take every spark out. So because Pharoh had the power over us, that's why Hashem wasn't able to send us directly to Eretz Yisrael. He didn't take the derech eretz plishtim. Why? Because it's good. We would have had a bad influence. We were not on the level the kids to go directly to Eretz Yisrael. That's what Tzadok says. We weren't on the level. We weren't able to handle the challenges going directly there. Right? Maybe we'll go back. Why would they go back? We'll change our mind. Because it's going to be too hard going and being involved with these plishtim. They were very big klipa. And going through their land, even we're paying for the food, and they'd let us do that, but it doesn't make a difference. The Maisa, we cannot handle a test of dealing with these, such a place, such a situation, where to go through the other way. If we were Zoche, after getting the Torah, and after we had to deal with the spies, and blew it, so we would have been able to come directly to Eretz Yisrael. But we couldn't go directly there, because Pharoh had to send us. By Beshalach Pharoh sent us. That's the first thing that the Tzadok says, but that's number one.
Through sending.
Through the fact that Pharoh sent us, we saw that he still had us. We weren't worthy enough. That's exactly why. That's also why Moshe Rabbeinu was not able to come to Eretz Yisrael. Right? Hashem had to do. He said it says Lo yechatz kel l'shono. The dogs didn't bark. He said Hashem had to shut them off. The dogs were the accusing angels. He said a Baal Tzofan also looked like a dog. That's what Tzadok says. So they had this aspect of accusation, these different bad forces, and we needed help because we didn't have a merit to leave on our own. We needed help. Hashem said, "Oh, shut them off. Okay, let them go. Let them leave." That's the basic. That's the first thing that I wanted to say, right? And that's why we went Zochah to bring Moshe Rabbeinu into Eretz Yisrael, right? That's what because the Medrash says, "Whoa, that I won't go with them to Eretz Yisrael." What does one thing do with the other? Because he saw we weren't on the level. So unless we get to the level, we're not going to get into it. So that's also the punishment. Moshe Rabbeinu, right? He hit the rock. What did he do wrong? And they would make him crazy. He didn't do anything wrong. He could have uplifted the people to be able to come into Israel. He didn't uplift the Jewish people. He couldn't carry them to Israel. That's all. It wasn't exactly a punishment. It was also he didn't sanctify Hashem's name, so they weren't uplifted. So then they thought, that's how the Maral put into Rashi. Fine, very, very good. So then there's one other thing that I wanted to say in front of Tzadok. Yeah, and again, this is there's another point that he makes also. She said when they felt a beautiful, beautiful awe, they felt a beautiful, beautiful connection. They felt a beautiful connection on the night of when Max Bechoros, when the night of Pesach, and it went away, and they were very, very bitter. I'm like, whoa, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So they started remembering what they went through in Egypt. So Hashem, that's why Hashem had to give them comfort them, and he said, no, hold on, right? During the day, he went with the on is Avram, right? The cloud of glory was Abraham, the pillar of fire was Yitzchak, right? And Yaakov was a combination of both. So he gave them this chosla of us. We have to know, every person, like Rabbi Yonah says, has to know that you are going with the others. You are important, and you come. You're a descendant of Avraham and Yaakov. He said, if you don't feel this, if you don't feel, I have a calling, I'm a Jew, and I have a calling, I'm connected, he said, you are close to spiritual failing. You're spiritually weak. Close to hate. You have to feel pride in being a Jew. He said, otherwise, not so good. You have to feel it very deeply. This is this idea. They needed to be reassured. They needed to be comforted in connection. That is through the schus of the others. We have to understand we have the others know, so what we do is important. What we can do is important. So that's this other point, which is another a problem. Why couldn't they come to Israel? They didn't realize their importance. They didn't understand something the Leshem says. And it was this idea of like they didn't. And Rastas says also they have to be talking. You have to have applied faith, trust on Hashem. Everything's going to work out. It's all from Hashem. He's taking care of me. He's doing everything I'm supposed to do. Not to feel like we don't deserve it, we're undeserving. No, it has nothing to do with deserving. It has to do with God's kindness and God's mercy. But, so there's one other thing that I want to say from the Tzadok, which is, why is this week called Shabbos Shira? I might have given a longer one for Emunah Center maybe last year or the year before on everything's good, B'ez Hashem. So I might have given a longer one for Emunah Center on this topic, but I just want to mention the Kitzur, Nimrod's very big Kitzur. Why is this week called Shabbos Shira? And we know, like I mentioned yesterday, last week from the right was the Chayza, I think the Chayza Lublin, right? Bo is leaving Mitzrayim. You can connect to the line of Pesach, and Beshalach you connect to the last day of Pesach, and you connect to Matan Torah. We don't call Parshas Yisro Shabbos Torah Seinu. No, we don't call that. We don't call Bo Shabbos Yitzias Seinu. The Shabbos when we left Egypt, the Shabbos we get the Torah. We don't call. And no other. Rarely do we find a Shabbos Shuvah. It can happen, but what's in the Parsha they call this is the week. That's it. This is what's happening. Shabbos go. Let's do with Pesach. What's going on that we should call so this week? What is particularly in the Parsha? So Rav Tzadok explains, and this I mentioned also earlier. It's a very important point. I don't remember if we were able to take it shiur, but Rav Tzadok in this parasha over here, he explains that if you want to connect to the light of Shovavim, the main time to do so is on Shabbos. Shabbos is the main time, the Avodah, the biggest Avodah. That's the biggest Avodah. You want to have the tikkun of bris and all these good things. Connect as much as possible to the light of Shabbos. He said that is how you do it. And that's supposed to spill over into your week and connect you during the week as well.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
Oh, that is a very good question. There are many, many possible ways of doing it. The first thing is, again, trying to get to Emunah-Dveykus on Shabbos. Trying to connect to davening. The Komarna has a very sharp language. He's like, and every time you remember this, you're like, wow, I really have to work on my davening on Shabbos. He says, person has to be very careful that his shachos and Shabbos should be very different in the week. He said, if he doesn't, woe to him. You have such an opportunity to get spiritual connection, and you didn't enhance your davening in any way, nothing. Just like the weekday, same thing. How could it be? And it has to be enhanced. It has to be better. So that's the first thing to be aware. Like davening, learning Torah. People say to go to a tishu, wonderful. That uplifts you. Singing the Zmiris, connecting in the Suda Shabbos. There's so many beautiful things. They bring from the Mekubalim. It's in the Emek HaMelech. It's in other places as well. It might be from the Ari. I don't remember. I don't remember seeing it in the Ari, but it's in the Emek HaMelech for sure. That we are like, maybe it's in the Zohar even. That we are like the Pari Bosham when the cows, right, the oxen were taking the Arna Kodesh back from Blishtim. So putting the Arna Kodesh on them made them sing. They started to sing. So Shabbos we're like that. We have our physicality, our materialism of the week. Suddenly comes Shabbos and we just started to sing. We completely transcend the physical. That's what Shabbos is about. So there's news of Shabbos and working on Shabbos. And it's an avoda. It's a bit of an avoda. It's part of why we expand Shabbos. Like Tzadok also says, like Rav Nosson says, you want to bring the Kedusha of Shabbos into the week. So you expand it, add a little time, do a little learning, do a little something, a little special, whatever you can. You have to work as hard as you can to make Shabbos really count. To make it real. Because this is your main Avodah of Shovavim. So he says, on Shabbos Shira, you're able to get to a place of Zekeli Vanveo, Yeshar, you get to Geula. There's a potential for real Geula, real connection to Hashem. He said, because you have this ability, to overcome and to break the Klippas. He says that's the pshat of you fix the gamma bris, all the distancing from Hashem. It's Bechid is called gamma bris, where Chas v'Shalom has problems of personal purity. The Maisa, like Rei Nachman says, the most important aspects of this work, you have to work on it in whatever way you can. But the most important thing, the foundation of this is Emunah, Simcha, Anava, and bris. They're one aspect. You have to work from all directions. The happier I am, the more emunah I have, the more humility I have, the better off I am in these areas as well. It's a matter of connecting to Hashem. That's what it's about. So he said, this is the time when you can literally come to Geula. Shabbos Shira, you're able to sing from Geula, like they'll say Zekeli Vanveu. If not from the general exile, then at least from your personal exile, as Baal Shem Tov says. You have to at least get out of your problems. That's what Shabbos Shira is about. We have tremendous potential this week. That's why it's very important to be aware. It's like, I want very much. This week I want to hear the laning in, I want to connect to the Shira, and I want to be just connected. Maybe that's part of why some people have a custom to stand during Shabbos Shira, during Parshas Shira. They're saying, "What are you staying here?" It's it seems to be a denigrating of the Torah, but that's not important. It's the most important. But the reason why those who stand is because you're able to get an elevation during this week. It's not meant to denigrate anything. It's not meant to put anything down. You get elevated. Same thing next week with the Kabbalah Torah. That's true. But this week especially, it seems to be one of the crux of Shovavim, when you can really get tremendous gifts. It's a big time. Especially this Shabbos. Try to take Shabbos in early if possible. Try to go to the mikveh before Shabbos. Try to be careful to be the Shabbos. Everything has to do with Shabbos, do your best to fill it properly with connection in whatever way you can. Hashem shall be zocher to the ore of connecting and chizik and the shiur that comes after the redemption, that we are afforded this special Shabbos.